Today we will talk about jewelry from 1880 to 1900s. The end of the century was characterized by reaction against mechanically produced jewelry. Technical progress and mechanization made jewelry affordable by the masses, but lowered rather than improved the quality of the pieces. The lockets and bracelets that were produced in the last decades of the century in very low carat gold, repetitive in design, rarely made and badly finished, could hardly be called jewels. The public started to reject the fashion of wearing a multiple of pendants, always similar in design, and sets of jewelry in debased gold. The situation was similar all over Europe. At the beginning of the 1880s, fashionable women seemingly wearied of a succession of revival in jewelry design styles of jewels, in which technical skill and research of the motifs substituted art, creativity, and spontaneity, temporarily abandoned jewelry almost completely. In England, the situation was complicated by rebellion against Victorian excess in decoration, its ostentation and taboos. The young women of the aesthetic movement abandoned all ornaments and enjoyed wearing on their simple dresses a plain string of amber beads. They also enjoyed the jewels from India with their irregularly shaped or uncut stones, tiaras and hair ornaments. Tiaras were very much in fashion in the last 2 decades of the century, and necklaces were often provided with a special rigid metal frame to enable them to be worn as a tiara. This simple device allowed women to have a formal tiara when a special occasion required it. Typically, tiaras assumed the form of graduated row of spikes alternated with trefoil motifs or that of graduated row of scrolled lower design. In the same way, diamond flower head, star, and crescent tiaras of the 1890s were provided with brooch and hairpin fittings so that the single elements could be worn on the bodies, or in the hair when the full tiara was not required. Earrings. The earrings of the 1880s and 1890s were generally very small. The fashionable design for daily wear in the 1890s consisted of a single pearl embellished with small diamonds. At night, plain diamond studs of varying sizes were preferred. In the 1890s, pendant earrings reappeared in the shape of pearl and diamond drops designed to move in order to catch and reflect the light. One of the most successful designs consisted of a cascade of bell-shaped flower heads, graduating in size and chained one to another, free to move and sparkle with each movement of the head. The great innovation of the early 1890s was the screw fitting, which enabled women to wear earrings without having their ears pierced. Necklaces. Among the most acceptable neck ornaments of the 1880s and 1890s was the fringed necklace. Designed as a graduated row of colored set stones or trefoil motifs suspended by means of very thin knife wires from a simple chain necklet. Of more or less elaborate design, the necklace was often set with diamonds, topazes, or peridots, and pearls or half-pearls. The diamond and half-pearl necklace is also typical of the period, designed as a delicate row of flower heads connected by the festooned chains or foliate motifs. Very delicate and light gold necklaces of thin gold wire scrolled in the flowing lights of the Art Nouveau, set with peridots, amethysts, tourmalines, and tiny diamonds featured among the preferred neckwear of the 1890s. Rivieres were also in fashion, especially if set with diamonds cut in the new style and set in open-work galleries. The choker or dog collar was perhaps the most characteristic neckwear of the period. Evening dog collars were made of of 11 or 12 rows of small pearls, set in intervals with diamond bars, diamond plugs, or delicate scrollwork design, or enamel and gem-set plugs of Art Nouveau inspiration. Brooches. Fin de Ciel brooches were usually smaller and more delicate in design than their early counterparts, and worn in large numbers along the neckline or pinned on the lace and tulle draped around the décolletage. It was irrelevant if the design and style didn't match. All that was necessary was quantity around the neckline. More elaborate in design than early examples, star brooches were made of 6, 8, or even 12 or 16 points, often decorated between the arms with a single stone set at the end of a knife wire. Diamond stars were the most acceptable, but cheaper versions set with pearls, opals, and moonstones provided successful alternatives. Crescents were also successfully set with opals and pearls, or appropriately moonstones. White crescents of open design were sometimes embellished with a small bird or trefoil or bee. Other crescents of closer and more compact design were occasionally set in the center with a star motif. Also in favor were sunburst brooches entirely set with diamonds, and pansy brooches with colored gemstones or velvet petals bordered with small diamonds. Pendants. Many of the above-mentioned brooches were fitted with a loop and worn as pendants, but the most sought-after shape for fin de siècle jewel pendants was the cross and the heart. Latin cross pendants were often set with diamonds, but also with many other less expensive gemstones or pearls, or simply decorated with enamels. Heart-shaped pendants and lockets, often surmounted by a ribbon bow, were entirely pavé set with diamonds or with half pearls and diamonds. Hearts in green, blue, or red gouache enamels, decorated at the center with a small pearl or diamond motif and mounted within a similarly set border, were the prevailing fashion. Pendants often offered the shape of the fervent naturalistic imagination of Art Nouveau and arts and crafts jeweler artists, who produced splendid examples in gemstones and enamels in almost any form suggested by the vegetable and animal kingdom. Bracelets. Bracelets continue to be worn in numbers, as many as 4 on each arm. Bangles were the modish form of arm ornament, both wide and narrow. White gold bangles decorated with pearls, diamonds, or other gemstones continued to be produced as in the previous decade and were in fashion in the 1880s. In the 1890s, narrow bangles were preferred, either designed as half hoops of diamonds, sapphires, emeralds, pearls, or opals, or as thin gold hoops set in the center with gem-set flower head clusters, scrolled or marquise-shaped motifs. Typical of the 1890s were multi-hoop bangles, the backs composed of 2 or 3 fine gold wires, the front set with the gem-set flower head cluster, often detachable and wearable as a brooch or with a horseshoe or heart-shaped motif. Another innovation of the 1890s was the crossover bangle, designed as a gold wire, crossed and overlapped at the front and decorated at the ends with floral motifs or other decorative devices. And that's all we wanted to discuss today. Stay tuned for future podcasts. Goodbye.